Hello, my dear students. We are going to discuss a very important metabolic pathway in protein metabolism. That metabolic pathway is cyclic one. This is called as urea cycle. Urea is the main end product of protein amino acid metabolism. Urea formation is the pathway through which the liver can convert toxic ammonia into non-toxic urea. Liver is the only site for the urea formation. Then urea is transported by the blood from liver to the kidney to be excreted in urine. Urine Urea is 20 to 40 grams per day. Plasma urea is 20 to 50 milligrams per deciliter. The diagnostic importance of plasma urea determination. Measurement of plasma urea is one of the kidney function tests. In kidney diseases, as in renal failure, kidney fail to excrete urea. Therefore, we see high blood urea concentrations. This is called as uremia. In urea cycle, there are 5 steps, 5 reactions. Those 5 reactions are: first is formation of carbamyl phosphate, second is formation of citrulline, third is formation of arginosuccinate, fourth is cleavage of arginosuccinate, and fifth is cleavage of arginine into ornithine and urea. Out, out of 5 reactions, the first 2 reactions occur in mitochondria, whereas remaining 3 reactions occur in cytosol. There are 6 amino acids taking part in urea cycle. They are ornithine, citrulline, arginosuccinate, and aspartate, arginine, and N-acetyl glutamate. The last one is a allosteric regulator of first reaction of urea cycle. This diagram shows the complete picture of those 5 reactions of urea cycle. Urea cycle is also called as Hansenite cycle. The first step is formation of carbamyl phosphate. This is formed by a combination of ammonia and carbon dioxide in presence of ATP and the enzyme carbamyl phosphate synthase. N-acetyl glutamate, magnesium ion, and manganese ions are activators of carbamyl phosphate synthase. Here, 2 ATP molecules are converted into 2 ATP plus Pi. The carbamyl phosphate so form in first reaction, then combines with ornithine in the second step. Ornithine condenses with carbamyl phosphate to give citrulline. This is also a mitochondrial reaction. It occurs in mitochondria. Then citrulline diffuses from mitochondria to cytosol. There it combines with one molecule of aspartate, forming arginosuccinate. Arginosuccinate is then split, cleavage into one molecule of fumarate and one molecule of arginine. Arginine is further broken up into urea and ornithine molecule. The ornithine goes inside the mitochondria to react with ornithine and continue with the second reaction of urea cycle. Fumarate form in the fourth step, that is converted into malate, then it is converted into oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate by transamination forms aspartate. This aspartate is utilized for the formation of arginosuccinate when citrulline combines with aspartate. So this way, the five steps of the reactions, five steps of the urea cycle, they go continuously. This diagram is interesting to show the path of urea, items of urea, where from they are coming. It starts with protein, which is converted into amino acid, which are then converted into glutamate. Those amino acids, all the amino acids, they are converted into one amino acid, glutamate. That happens by the action of aminotransferases, which converts amino acid into a keto acid with the formation of glutamate. This glutamate is then acted upon by a very active enzyme, glutamate dehydrogenase, where an ammonia molecule is produced. Alpha ketoglutarate is formed with the associated reduction of one molecule of NADP to one molecule of NADPH. This reaction of ammonia formation from glutamate is associated with simultaneous reaction where glutamate gives rise to aspartate by transamination of oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate is converted into aspartate, and this aspartate then enters into urea cycle. So this way, the glutamate is formed, gives rise to ammonia on one side, and it is converted into aspartate on the other side. Ammonia will be combining with carbon dioxide to give carbonyl phosphate. Aspartate will be combining with citrulline to give arginosuccinate. Like that, this arginosuccinate is converted into arginine and urea. Carbonyl phosphate reacts with ornithine to give another molecule of citrulline. This is the general pathway of urea cycle. Now we will go by one, we will go for urea cycle reactions. Those are called as steps of urea cycle. First step is formation of carbonyl phosphate. This reaction occurs in mitochondria. It needs CO2, a product of citric acid cycle, ammonia, a product of deamination of glutamate, and phosphate from ATP. So the reaction equation is on left hand side we have got ammonia and carbon dioxide getting condensed to carbonyl phosphate. ATP is converted into ATP plus 2pi, and enzyme carbonyl phosphate synthase is activated by N-acetylglutamate and magnesium and manganese ions. Ultimately, the product of the first step is carbonyl phosphate. This reaction is catalyzed by carbonyl phosphate synthase. It needs manganese, Mg ions, magnesium ions, and N-acetylglutamate as the activator. Two ATP molecules are used in this reaction one to provide phosphate and the other one is to supply energy. There are two carbamide phosphate synthetases acting in the body. One is present in mitochondria of liver. It is for formation of carbamide phosphate for urea cycle. The another carbamide phosphate synthesis is present in cytosol and it is for synthesis of pyrimidine. Here the comparison is given. The site of carbamide phosphate synthesis 1 is mitochondria and the site of carbamide phosphate synthesis 2 is cytosol. The pathway for which CPS1 is required is urea formation, and the pathway for which CPS2 is required is pyrimidine. The prostatic group are activator of the enzyme. Energy is required for CPS1, whereas there is no activator required for CPS2. Sources of nitrogen: in case of urea, the source is ammonia, whereas in case of pyrimidine, the source is glutamate. The inhibitor CTP inhibits CPS2, whereas CPS1 doesn't have an inhibitor. This reaction also occurs in mitochondria. Carbamide phosphate reacts with ornithine in the presence of ornithine transcarbamylase enzyme producing citrulline. Citrulline then passes to the cytosol. Ornithine is regenerated with each turn of urea cycle. Citrulline reacts with, this is step 3, that formation of arginosuccinate. Citrulline reacts with aspartate in the cytosol to form arginosuccinate. Step 4, cleavage of arginosuccinate. It gives rise to arginine and fumarate. Cleavage of arginine into ornithine and urea. Ornithine then passes to this is step 5, the last step. The ornithine is formed from splitting of arginine. The ornithine so formed passes to the mitochondria to start a new cycle. Urea passes to the blood to be excreted by kidney in urine. Here we look at the sources of different items of urea. That is, urea is NH2CO NH2. Carbon atom is given by carbon dioxide. Nitrogen atom from ammonia, and the second nitrogen atom is given from aspartate. The cytosol reacts. The overall reactions, we will go for energetics of the urea cycle. The overall reactions may be summarized as 1 molecule of ammonia, 1 molecule of carbon dioxide, and 1 molecule of aspartate gives rise to 1 molecule of urea and 1 molecule of fumarate. With energetics, this equation will be 1 molecule of ammonia, 1 molecule of carbon dioxide, 1 molecule of aspartate plus 3 ATP molecules give rise to urea 1 molecule, fumarate 1 molecule, ADP 2 molecules, AMP 1 molecule, and 2 inorganic phosphate liberated with 2-pyrophosphate. The pyrophosphate, only one pyrophosphate is liberated. The key enzyme of urea cycle is carbamyl phosphate. This enzyme is the regulatory enzymes of urea cycle. So when we discuss regulation of urea cycle, we see that the carbamyl phosphate is activated allosterically by acetyl glutamate, magnesium ion, and manganese ions. N-acetyl glutamate synthesis is stimulated by high protein diet and amino acid, especially arginine. This will promote urea cycle. Here it gives the how the regulatory molecule N-acetyl glutamate is formed. Glutamate reacts with acetate to give N-acetyl glutamate. The N-acetyl glutamate is formed from glutamate reacting with acetyl-CoA. The high protein will accelerate the formation of N-acetyl glutamate, and arginine is activator of this N-acetyl glutamate synthetase. Urea diffuses from the liver and is transported by the blood to the kidneys, where it is filtered and excreted in the urine. A portion of the urea synthesized in the liver diffuses from the blood into the intestine and is cleaved into carbon dioxide and ammonia by bacterial urease. This ammonia is partly lost in the feces and is partly reabsorbed into the blood, and then it enters into the urea cycle. In patients, now we go for fate of urea. We are discussing fate of urea. The patients with kidney failure, plasma urea level is elevated. Into reabsorbed, increased transfer of urea from blood to the intestine increases the action of intestinal urease on urea. Increase ammonia synthesis, hyperammonemia, oral administration of increased action of intestinal urease on urea will produce ammonia, causing ammonemia, hyperammonemia. Use of the antibiotics will cause increased ammonia synthesis, hyperammonemia. Oral administration of neomycin antibiotics reduces the number of intestinal bacteria responsible for the ammonia production. Here we are now going to see how TCA cycle and urea cycle are interrelated. That is the relationship between tricarboxylic acid cycle and urea cycle. Carbon dioxide needed for the urea formation is mostly provided by TCA cycle. Fumarate produced in the urea cycle can be oxidized in TCA cycle. Aspartate can give oxaloacetate and vice versa. That is, oxalate can be converted into aspartate and aspartate can be transaminated into oxaloacetate. ATP needed for this urea cycle is derived from TCA cycle. This is how these two cycles are interrelated. Here, this relation between these two cycles is shown that on the left hand side, carbon dioxide and ammonia, they form the carbamyl phosphate, which is converted into citrulline. Citrulline is converted to arginosuccinate. Arginosuccinate gives fumarate, which gives to TCA cycle, and it gives arginine, which goes to urea cycle. Arginine is further converted into urea and ornithine, thereby continuing the urea cycle. The fumarate, so liberated from arginosuccinate, is then converted by urea cycle enzyme into malate. Malate is converted into oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate then transaminated to aspartate. Aspartate is required for the formation of arginosuccinate. This aspartate form then combines with citrulline to arginosuccinate. This way, these two cycles are interrelated. Now we go for types and causes of hyperammonemia. That is, hyperammonemia is increased level of ammonia in blood. There are two types of hyperammonemia we see: acquired hyperammonemia and inherited hyperammonemia. Acquired hyperammonemia, liver cell fails to that fails and cannot convert ammonia into urea, then this is called as renal failure. Shunt operation between portal and systemic circulation result into such type of hyperammonemia. Collateral between portal and the systematic circulation due to cirrhosis of liver also causes such type of hyperammonemia. Here is the diagrammatic presentation of acquired hyperammonemia. That is, in intestine, dietary proteins gives rise to ammonia by the bacterial enzyme. Also, urea secreted by the intestinal cell is converted into ammonia that is taken up, and by portal vein it goes to liver, or by shunt this ammonia goes to the systematic circulation, thereby causing increased level of ammonia in the blood. The second type of ammonemia is inherited one, genetic diseases. They are called as inborn errors of urea cycle. They result from the genetic deficiency in one of the 5 enzymes of the urea cycle, failing to synthesize urea. Hyperammonemia during the first week of birth presented as a mental retardation. The most common inherited enzyme deficiency are carbamyl phosphate synthetase first. It results in what is called as hyperammonemia type 1. Ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency causes or result into what is called as hyperammonemia type 2. Other enzyme deficiencies include citrullinemia due to deficiency of arginosuccinic acid synthetase, arginosuccinate aciduria due to deficiency of arginosuccinate arginosuccinase, and arginuria or arginemia due to deficiency of arginase. This table shows the different type of ammonemia and the enzyme defect in that and their feature. The first is hyperammonemia type 1. This is due to deficiency of carbamyl phosphate synthase 1. The features are very high ammonia level in blood and mental retardation. Second is hyperammonemia type 2. It is due to ornithine transcarbamylase deficiency. Ammonia level is high in blood. Increase glutamine is in blood is also seen. Next is hyperammonemia. Next hyperammonemia is ornithine anemia. That is due to deficiency of transcarbamylase. This deficiency causes decreased urea in blood. The next is citrullinemia. Arginosuccinate is the enzyme deficient. Higher level of synthetase ammonia and citrullinuria. Arginine succinate aciduria. Arginosuccinate lyase is a deficient enzyme causing arginosuccinate in blood and urine. Friable bitter tufty hairs are the signs and symptoms of this disease. The last is hyperarginemia, result due to deficiency of arginase, and the symptoms of arginine increases in blood and CSF. Here is summary of the urea cycle. That is ammonia and carbon dioxide in first step. They condense to form carbamyl phosphate. This carbamyl phosphate reacts with ornithine to give citrulline. Citrulline then combines with aspartate to give arginosuccinate. Arginosuccinate then is split up into arginine and fumarate. Arginine then is split up into urea and ornithine. Ornithine re-enters into the cycle. This way we have completed the 5 reactions, 5 enzymes of urea cycle. 5 enzymes are carbamyl phosphate synthase, ornithine transcarbamylase, arginosuccinate synthetase, arginosuccinase, arginase. These reactions occur in liver. So urea formation is in liver. It is never in kidney. Kidney are responsible for excretion of urea. The urea formed in the liver is transported to kidney. There it is filtered and the urea excretion takes place in the kidney. So this way we have completed the urea formation by urea cycle enzymes. Thank you. Thank you.